This is ARIRANG Realty. Hello, I am Kathy Her, a certified and registered realtor of ARIRANG Realty. Are you planning to rent a house in Korea? Then you need to take lease options into consideration. There are 3 lease options in Korea. The first one is Jeonse. It's a payback key money deposit lease, which is very specific and unique to Korea. Next one is Kalse. It is based on the lump sum payment of rent in advance. And last one is Wolse. It literally means monthly rent, but in most cases, it requires a certain amount of deposit. Let's start with Jeonse. It's a payback deposit lease. As you can see, we have 2 parties, lessor and lessee. Lessor is the legal owner of the property, and lessee is the person who rents the property from lessor. When the agreement is made, lessor leases a house in exchange for lessee's payment of key money. And when the lease term expires, lessor returns the security deposit, and lessee delivers the possession of the house. Now let me offer you some insights on significant pros and cons of Jeonse. This is the most popular lease system in Korea. So you can find almost any kinds of houses under this system, if you can afford to pay the key money. Another positive aspect of Jeonse is no further rent is required after this huge sum of money is paid. And at the end of the lease period, commonly 2 years, the landlord returns the key money without any interest. However, as you might guess, under this system, lessee needs to pay a huge deposit of key money, usually about 30% to 80% of the value of the property. It's a lessor-friendly system because lessor can make the best use of the key money with no interest. What's worse, depositing a large sum of money comes with risks. Your deposit may not be fully returned if there is a title problem out of mortgages, liens, and other encumbrances on property. So it's very important to check the house's register with a certified real estate agent before you sign. Next one is Kalse. This option requires advance payment of the total monthly rent for the entire lease period. The lessor leases a house to the lessee in exchange for the lessee's payment of the lump sum rent. When the lease contract is expired, the possession is delivered to lessor, but lessor keeps the lump sum rent and there is nothing left for lessee. Here are some pros and cons of Kalse. First of all, the prepaid rent is far less expensive than the key money deposit of Jeonse. And you don't have to pay rent every month because the monthly rent is deemed to be deducted from the total prepaid rent. Under this system, there is nothing left for lessee when the lease term expires. That means no risks of losing money. What are the disadvantages of Kalse? It's simple. You need to pay the total rent in advance, which you are not able to get back. As a matter of fact, this option is very popular among foreigners because of relatively low cost and little risks. The last one is Wolse. It follows the usual monthly rent with key money deposit. Lessor leases a house to lessee in exchange for lessee's payment of the deposit and monthly rent. At the end of the contract period, when the lease term expires, the possession is delivered to lessor. And under this system, only the deposit is returned to the lessee without any interest. Let me explain in more detail. Wolse is a variation of Jeonse, but the amount of security deposit, as well as the risks of not getting it back, are very low compared with those of Jeonse. However, under this system, you have to pay rent every month, in addition to the security deposit. A smaller monthly rent is charged if the deposit is large, and the rent is not returned to lessee when the lease term expires. So this system is ideal for those who can afford to pay monthly rent with steady income. It's finally time to end this presentation. Thank you very much for your patience. I hope you are all able to understand anything I said. If you need more information, please email us. Have a good day. Bye-bye.